All right, so we're going to start off with 22 gauge wire. We've got it cut from the spool in our 6 inches to work with. What we're going to do is get our automatic strippers, select the 22 gauge die, and we're going to give ourselves about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. And as I pull the strippers and release, it gives me a nice clean strip of the wire. If I were to switch and use a set of gray manual strippers, again picking the correct size, so I place my wire in the correct spot and I push it down, and what I want to do is I want to rotate it 90 degrees and then squeeze again, and then try and keep it square when I pull the wire off, and it stripped the wire. We'll see if we can zoom in and see the difference on the two strip. Looks pretty good. You might notice a little bit of discoloration on this one, right in here. So we probably have to look at that under the magnifying glass and make sure that it didn't catch the copper. So from here, what we're going to do is start tinning. So you noticed I had put 2 rolls of solder out. One is the correct solder and the other one was not. So what's in the part number? So we're looking for 6337, not the 6040. Almost identical, except in the part number. You'll notice at the bottom is the 6040 and the 6037. Both are the rosin core. So when we get our soldering iron up to temperature, you'll notice it doesn't look that great. This one's been sitting, it's hot, and there's not much solder left on it. So what we're going to do is clean it in my sponge, clean it off, and then when I come back it's nice and shiny and clean. I can add some solder to it if I want, and then again clean it off, and it should come out nice and shiny and clean, so it's ready to work. So now if I want to tin the wire, what I'm going to do is I want to add a little bit of solder to the iron. I'm going to place it under the wire, come up from underneath, and then add the solder to the top of the wire and watch it move. You can see it moving down, and I want to stop it right about there. So I want it the thickness of my wire away from the end. So just use a piece of wire, hold it up, looks good. I can see the discoloration there, so it's probably flowed that far. If I keep the heat on there, it's going to go right up underneath the insulation, not what I want. The other thing is, I'll try again. Again, clean my iron. Start off with a little bit of a ball of solder on your iron for the heat sink. Put it underneath, add the solder, and you'll see it flowing. We don't want to start painting it, right? A lot of people want to try and paint the solder down the wire. No, let the solder flow itself. Add the heat. If I have to move my iron a little bit, this one's a little longer, so I'm going to add a little bit more solder and then stop. If I get too ambitious and put putting a lot of solder on there, and I get it all over, I can try and heat it up and get it to flip off so that it's nice and clean. What I want to do now is check to make sure that the wire is bendable. So it's still bending, and I have my outside diameter away from the wire. So that's correct. If I bend it and it's way too high, I can reflow the solder, but it's going to go quickly, so I have to be careful. Again, on the bottom, add it to my wire. I can move a little bit further down, but I got to be quick to pull the heat away and stop. Check on it, see if it's flexible, and I have my correct distance away.